Imagine you're a homeowner and you've done everything right. You're paying your mortgage on time. You're paying your HOA if you have it on time. You're paying your taxes and insurance on time. All of those things. You're doing everything that you're supposed to do the right way. And here comes the government. Here comes a note on the door telling you that your land is now my land, aka the government's land. You know that song, This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land, from California to the New York Island? Honey, it means a totally different thing when it comes to something called eminent domain. It is the legal process of the government actually seizing and taking your land, and you did nothing wrong. So let's talk about it. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Kim McBride, also known as Get Keys with Kim. I'm a licensed associate broker in Maryland, DC, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and the Dominican Republic. All right, so let's talk about it, y'all. So eminent domain is the government's power to take private land for public use. So I want you to think about things like transit or schools or highways. But the thing about that is they can't just take it. They actually have to reimburse you. They have to give you what's called fair market value for your house. But the thing about it is you can't say no. You can't say you don't want your property to be taken. It's going to be taken. And they're supposed to pay you a fair value. Fair value can be figured out by doing comps or CMA, a comparative market analysis, to determine the home's value at this present moment. So you may have paid $50,000 for it 10 years ago, and it may be worth $1.5 million now. So the government would need to pay you $1.5 million. Now, here is where you can put up a fight. You can actually challenge the value of what the government feels like is the fair market value of your home. You can't challenge the taking of the land, but you can challenge how much money you're going to get, which is oftentimes why some homeowners will get what's called an appraisal done. They'll have an appraiser come out and assess the home and the value of the land, and they'll do that separate and apart from the government because some people may not trust the government to give them fair market values. And even though we've talked about not being able to challenge the taking of the land, I've also heard that there have been some people that have actually challenged whether or not the taking of the land is truly for public use. So it truly has to benefit the community. The government has to show that. Now, I'm sure there's somebody in history that has done it. I'll probably do another video if I find one, but that is definitely a loophole of sorts, right? If the government can't just take it just to take it, it has to be for public use and it has to benefit the community or the public in some way. So if the government ever comes knocking, don't be afraid. You want to do these 4 things. 1, know that you have the right to negotiate. You don't have to just accept anything that they give you. 2, you have the right to get your own appraisal to kind of figure out what is the true market value for your property. 3, you can absolutely hire legal counsel, so an attorney or a lawyer, to help represent your interests in the process. And 4th and finally, you can absolutely be compensated fairly. You better get what's yours, okay? And then add a little bit of tax since the government's adding tax, right? Not fake tax, but I'm just saying go hard in the paint, right, for what is yours. And so this is also why it's important when we talk about real estate and location mattering, because when you purchase properties that may be in major corridors or in planned development zones and areas, it may be possible that your land could be subject to eminent domain. And it may not be. Like, you may not even know this when you buy it. You may have looked everywhere and then the government just comes in and swoops in like an eagle, and next thing you know, they want the land. But it's still good to know. So I hope you learned something today. If you did, I want you to put that little like bank building. Put a bank building emoji in the chat. Share this with a friend. Like, comment, ask questions. Make it a great day on purpose. And then do what? Get keys with Kim. Deuces, y'all. Deuces. See you later. Bye.